Good afternoon, and welcome to our concert series. And today we have something really special. As you see, we have a harpsichord. You don't really get to hear the harpsichord that often because places don't have a harpsichord, or it's not as known as a piano or the big lustrous organ. It's really a treat to have Sandor here today. He was here last year and did a wonderful organ concert here. He's very multi-talented, and it's a really privilege to have him here with us today to present the harpsichord concert. I will let him do all the speaking because he will give you information about it and talk a little bit about it as he's playing. Our concert runs about an hour long, so you know. The bathroom is downstairs in the back if you need the bathroom. I just want to say welcome to everybody that's here. Thank you for coming to support our concert series. And please, without further ado, I'd like to Sandor Szabo, please.
A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much, and I'd like to thank Church of St. Monica and John for having me back. It's just absolutely wonderful, inspiring place to make music. So, harpsichord. I don't know how many of you are first time to hear harpsichord concert, but it is very unique, as we have a king of instruments organ, always portrayed with a majesty and power. We have opposite instrument, queen of instruments. It is very often entitled because of its gracefulness and also just beauty in the lightness and the poetry. The major difference between piano and other keyboard instruments, on harpsichord, we plucking the strings. So there are jacks in it, and jacks move and make the plucking happen, and it's how we make a sound, very similar to guitar or a harp. And many composers were inspired by that sound, and as we had a Bach's birthday just a few days ago, Bach was a very big composer and important for the harpsichord music. He probably wrote the highest number of compositions for this instrument. And very often we are wondering, why is Bach so great? Well, we always hear about Bach, but probably the simplest explanation that he was a unifier. He was so good in composing in many different styles of music and many different nationalities, schools. So he was able to master the French style of writing, Italian style, German, and at that time, in the Baroque period, we have explosion of instrumental music. As you know, there are big Italian instrument makers like Stradivarius, Amati, and on and on. And it was just a rapid development of this instrumental music. And probably two most important inspirations for these keyboard instruments are the dances. So that's why we subtitled this program today, Dances for the Keyboard, for the harpsichord, because that's incredible large number of compositions. As you know, Bach wrote many other pieces, but even in his cantatas, also suites and also Brandenburg Concerto, there is always element of dance. And it is very often said that the music of Bach is a dance of God because of incredible beauty. As you know, if you have a dog or a cat, they always express their feeling through their movement. And you know, when the dog is happy, he will bounce around. And same with the humans too. We always express how we feel through our movements and also especially through the dance. So this section of suite of the dances are also very international. He draw inspiration in many different schools. Starts with Allemande, it's a German dance, always portrays incredible beauty. And I want you to pay attention how Bach's invention is always so incredible, inspiring, always moves. And it's never the same. Every time we have one figuration, always modulates, brings you incredible beauty of that unpredictable harmonies what's coming. The next piece is courant, French dance or Italian. Again, it's very bouncy, you will hear. In the first piece, Allemande, I will just go back to, as we have few registers on this, actually three. The front register at the bottom is very fluty, and you will hear very simple sound, very mellow. And the top manual is more nasal. So the difference is the different color. So very often you can play two notes at the same time with the different colors. So I will repeat the first element on the top end so you can hear the difference. So after the courant, we have a Spanish dance, saraband, again very slow quartet dance. And then after that, we have a gavotte, very French dance, and I will again make a repeat on the quieter manual. And on courant and gavotte, I will combine these two stops, registers, and you will hear a little bit louder sound. And then we have air, that's also, again, very accelerated aria. And then after that, it's a minuet. I will also use minuet on the top register, and also I will use mute. It sounds like this. And as you saw, and it will end up with jig, a very happy English origin dance. So about the instrument and tuning, you probably saw it. It is Werkmaster 3. As you know, today the pianos are being tuned in equal temperament, and there's no any key what is excellent or sounds very good. On harpsichord, they started with simple tunings because they didn't use many keys. They just used few keys, and they wanted those pieces to be in incredible good tuning. So they tuned those instruments according to those keys, and later on, as we developed more tonalities, the keys had to be adjusted. So on piano, equally, every tonality is equally bad because they're not able to tune very pure. And let me just demonstrate. If I play C major in this Werkmaster tuning, it's very pure and just absolutely beautiful. Now, if I just play C sharp major, listen how out of tune this is. See how much clashes. So all this tuning is according to the best tuning for that particular piece of music, and then later on develop to the equal temperament. So this is Suite number 4 by Bach. After Beethoven, Bach, we have a next incredible giant of music, Mozart. And this is what I'd like to kind of learn about Mozart. Um, Most of his life, he was a harpsichordist, not a pianist. So all this what he learned in his youth, he really learned from playing harpsichord. At that time, it was just the beginning of the piano, and the piano didn't develop. So it wasn't really much louder than harpsichord, and didn't have this many big dynamic, like making it soft or loud. So what he had to learn, it is through the terrace dynamic, and it's very favorite technical compositional practice. When you want a louder sound, you add more voices, and you want softer sound, you add less. And this is the practice what he used also in his symphonies and also quartets. So the next piece probably was taken by the tragedy when Mozart lost his mother on the trip to France, and we don't hear many pieces in minor key but by Mozart. But when he writes any piece in minor key, it's really very tumultuous and very power-taken composition. Just to remind of minor symphony, we have a C minor sonata, and very few pieces he wrote in a minor. But when he was writing in minor, it was really important for him to express his grief, in this case for his mother. And we will hear this orchestral writing, but at the same time we will hear this harpsichord texture, what he keeps for all his piano literature, all the way to the last piano concertos and sonatas. They can all be played on harpsichord, and you will really not hear big dynamic changes for any of the pieces if they will be played on piano because of this terrace dynamic, and you will hear that. Second movement is again very often used in Mozart's music. It's an aria. It's a beautiful aria, and we will hear all these orchestral colors. We will hear woodwinds. We will hear a flute. We will have full orchestra. It's absolutely just beautiful writing. And then the last movement, again, we're going back to this minor driving force, which Beethoven adopted very much later on in his compositions. So this is Sonata in A minor by Mozart. So I will demonstrate now how to change a plectra and staying cool when it happens in a concert. So let me just show it to you what happens. We have these plectras, and when you play a lot, they break, and very often they love to break just during the concert. So this is happening, I will just have to change one, and I will just show it to you how they look and how you change them. So we have this jack rail, which hold this plectra so they don't fly off in any direction. And the middle C, of course, broke down, and as the player plays, he has to make adjustments. It was very stressful. And I will just show you how it looks. Has little spot, and then we put little plectra, and they're very tiny. Sometimes they will make it from the feathers, especially from a crow, and they love to break. So I will just change this, and hopefully I will not have to change many more. So this is good. That works. And you saw the program. The next piece is we go to France, and as you know, this harpsichord is based on French harpsichord after famous builder Tuscan, and it is in the program. We have many different shapes of the harpsichord. Harpsichord is not very rich in one single note, but it's very rich in the harmonics. And that's the value of the instrument. Even if you know, if we have on a piano bigger resonating box, it's more expensive. And the French instruments have kind of semi-sharp edge of it. The German harpsichords, they have a round. In Italian harpsichord, they have a square ending. So this is how you recognize most of the time harpsichords. Bach knew many of the composers like Couperin, Rameau, and he was inspired by them. And it is very big and important school of French harpsichord music, and they're saying it's a golden age of the instruments. So that's very often in the concert halls you will see most likely a French harpsichord to menu. So the next piece is again saraband, based on a Spanish slow dance, as I played in a suite, and then also three hands. They love the feature of making effect of three hands, and you will hear that very soon. So this is saraband and three hands by Rameau. There was a famous competition between Scarlatti and Handel. In their time, they were competing who is the better harpsichordist. And Scarlatti was a huge legend in his time. He was like a rock star. He was born in Italy, then he emigrated to Spain, and then he continued working as a court harpsichordist and a court teacher for Queen Maria and Spain and Portuguese courts. His music was deeply inspired by folk music and dance. So again, I put the piece what I just played, it was also inspired by fandango. And if you know Spanish dance, it's an incredible fiery dance. And they usually use guitars, so that's why Scarlatti's music is inspired by guitar music a lot. And this piece, again, you will hear a repetition of the same notes. And Scarlatti was such a big virtuoso, mimicking this virtuoso guitar playing. So this is fandango or sonata. And for harpsichord, he wrote over 550 sonatas, and that was his main output. So he's primarily known for his harpsichord music. So this is fandango. So the next piece, it is very similar but on much larger scale. And if you ever see fandango dancers, they almost dance until they die. So it is such a fiery dance and it is so passionate dance. So they actually put all their being. It is all matter of life and death. So that's why it's so exciting. And it's hard for musicians to play it because you don't want to burn out with all that passion. So Padre Soler, Father Soler, he was actually a priest. He was a Scarlatti's student. So we recognize many of the features of harpsichord idiomatic writing. So this is fandango, and the most moving part of fandango is that hypnotic repetition, relentless repetition goes on and on. So this is actually 10-minute piece, so it will really test your kind of being present. But it is incredible dance. This is probably the most fandango ever written for harpsichord. So this is fandango by Padre Soler. And the next piece we will actually hear from American composer Joe Atterbeck. I believe that he's still alive. And the great about this, I always loved jazz music. I always loved, especially Dixieland music. And this is amazing how this piece works so well on harpsichord, because as you know, let me just compare with the Bach's music, where we have that walking bass. That walking bass was so happily adopted by jazz musicians. We will hear this walking bass, and also just all these jazz features like blue notes and also blues, and it is all in this space. So this is Saints March by John Atterbeck. And March is a dance too, so it belongs to this category.
Sandor, thank you. This was an awesome concert from Bach to that was great. That was great. Thank you so much for bringing your talent, bringing your instrument. This is so lovely to have in here. I know you can't hear it out there. It's beautiful. It's just so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us and for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, John, so much. Thank you. If you'd like to come and maybe try a harpsichord, maybe first time in your life, please feel free. Just play, don't play too heavy, like a piano, but please, you're welcome and see it and just try the harpsichord. Thank you so much, and I'm hoping to see you again.
Thank you again. Thank you so much for coming to the concert. If you notice in the back of the program, our concert series continues. Next month, on April 27th, we have a piano solos with duos and trios. And we welcome you back. Our concert's always at 3 o'clock. Our concerts are free. We ask if you can help offset costs for bringing all this wonderful programming here. That's lovely. If you can't, just having you here is the main thing. So thank you so much for being here. Please spread the word to the people that we have this series, and it's great to have everybody here, and safe travels, and hope to see you at our next concert. Thank you.